What's up, everybody? Happy March, happy spring break. Get your hangover on with the Hangover Network. We have so many podcasts, so many blogs, so much content as you enjoy your spring break. We have a Gambling Goose podcast. It is tons of gambling information, all the sports that are going on right now, and even the ones that aren't. We also have blogs on LeBron James, why he will never be happy in Los Angeles. You got to read it. A Los Angeles native wrote that blog, plus the latest on the new Marvel movie. Join us on the Hangover Network.
Every so often, the Sports Hangover touches on mature topics. Discretion is advised. Gossip, BS, lies, and rumors. This is the Sports Hangover.
I don't know what that means. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It's not. It gets the people going.
Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
What's up, Mike? Reporting live from the Players' Championship. I showed you the beach view right outside my hotel. I think you can hear the waves crashing. The door is open. The seagulls are chirping.
I don't know why you're going to go back to Orlando. You might as well just stay there. Great views. Your internet's great, too. People don't know your internet's really shitty back in Orlando.
My internet ever. I would live in Jax Beach. Jacksonville Beach is legit. It's young like I am. It's hip.
It's young like you are, yeah.
Great weather, great climate. I recommend Jax Beach.
All right, we got a lot to get to.
Oh my gosh. You thought March was a slow month? You're wrong.
We almost did an emergency pod yesterday, but we just had to wait because even more things happened today.
We had to wait because we weren't available. But
where do you
there's
want to
so
start?
much happening. March Madness, take a back seat, bro. You're done. We're not talking about basketball. It is NFL season in March. I love it. We have so much to get to, so many moves. The league year has just begun. It's a party in the NFL. It is officially 2019. All these deals are becoming official. We have winners and losers, but I want to start with your grades. You have some grades?
I have some grades. So I put together grades. I was sitting here like, okay, a lot of moves have been happening. What's been going on? Okay, so the first grade, we have the Browns. The Browns go from, I would say, a C+, right? If we're on a grading scale here. I think they were a C+. Good team, a lot of potential. I think now they're an A.
I love it. Give them the winner. The Browns are winners of the new season.
He's a winner.
Thanks for the sound effect.
Odell really, I think, just like stepped it up a bit. I feel like now they're just complete. They got everything. They got running backs. They got wide receivers. They got a quarterback. They're ready to go. They don't even have to pay.
The Browns are
Baker.
a clear winner. And I was confused at first. Antonio Brown or Cleveland Browns? Because they're both winners. But we'll start with the Cleveland Browns because it was a brown week and a brown out is in effect. Because that is the best hangover when you're browning out, right?
The brownouts are scary. You kind of come to every once in a while. Like, what's happening? Where am I?
Every once in a while. Not often. Listen, the Browns got so much better, and their division got so much worse. The Steelers and Ravens got worse, and the Browns added Odell for nothing. The Giants are clearly the worst-run organization in the NFL at this moment, and I am a Dolphins fan, so I'm seeing firsthand how bad our organization is, and the Giants are still worse. We've been all over that. But the Browns are winners because they added starters everywhere. To add Odell to that offense is insane. Baker was already going to light up 2019.
It's weird because you kept hearing these like rumors, like if there's a right deal, Odell will be traded. This didn't seem like a great deal. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, look what they got. They got a first round pick, which is I think the 17th pick overall or 13th, something like that. It's not too high. Yeah. Then they got a second round pick and then some other guy. But
they sold low on Odell. Odell is worth so much more. Those draft picks rarely work out. And when you study draft pick trades, you understand that a team like the Giants, who obviously has terrible scouting anyway, is probably not going to hit on either of the draft picks. Maybe they'll hit on one. And Jabril Peppers is just your average safety. He's not even that great of a player. The Browns got Odell on such a cheap deal and such a cheap trade. The Giants have completely mismanagement. The Giants are losers here. The Giants are the clear loser.
The Giants are definitely losers.
They did not take Sam Darnold last year. Instead, they took Saquon Barkley. I want to read this tweet from someone, very clever tweet about Saquon.
Weren't you on board with Barkley last year?
No, I was on board with Sam Darnold. Do not accuse me. I will walk off this show and you will finish yourself.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead with your clever tweet.
Okay.
Do you want me to play this? Do you want me to play where? Do I not have?
Let's play Guess That Tweet.
I really got to color coordinate these things better.
I'm glad you played that.
All right,
I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, so it's definitely not a guess that tweet, but it's a great tweet. He says, I don't think enough people are talking about how profoundly stupid it is to draft a running back at 2 and then punt on his first 2 seasons while also giving him 350 touches and probably even more than that this year. So not only did they draft Saquon, they're going to get him. They're going to run him into the ground, run him into their terrible offensive line. He's going to get hit, suffer injuries and wear and tear, and it will all be for nothing because they're going to have Eli Manning for those 2 years they have Saquon.
So let's look at it from the Giants' standpoint. Are they going after a quarterback? Are they going after Kyle Murray? Are they trying to get some assets to trade up during the draft? Is this their long-term play? Like, get rid of Odell. He's too much of a diva. We can't handle him right now. Is this?
By the way, breaking news, Mike.
Oh my God! What's happening? I just walk away.
Sportstradamus nailed it again. We should have led with this. In our sports prediction show, I said Odell would be traded. I nailed it.
I know. And you were talking in third person there. I call you Sportstradamus because every year you predict everything that comes true in the sports world. I don't know why I don't gamble on it more.
I knew the Giants would bail on Odell because he was running his mouth so much. He was overpaid for a diva receiver. More on Antonio Brown in just a second. Odell never had a place there. He didn't want to be there, so of course they had to get rid of him. The Giants have no plan because now they have 2 first-round draft picks. Unless they trade both of them to move up to number 1 overall and take the quarterback they want, which is probably Kyler Murray, they're probably going to screw it up again and take 2 offensive linemen or some shit, and they're going to have a running offense. Who in the NFL has a running offense in 2019? We saw the Cowboys, and they were awful to watch as they fed Zeke terrible. 30 times a game. The Giants are going to be the same. Their number 1 receiver is Sterling Shepard.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be good. It's either like they got to tank for the next 2 years and just acquire some more assets, but they had a guy that was an all-star athlete. They let somebody go that changes the way people play against you. And now he's gone, and now it's like, well, now what do we do? Like, what else are you going to get that's better than that? And I don't think the trade assets you got are good enough. So they're screwed. And also, by the way,
you're exactly right. The Giants are the definition of a team that does not know what's going on. And truly,
almost worse than the Steelers.
Actually worse, you could say. The Steelers have talent left over after all their problems. The Giants don't.
For the Cleveland Browns, the odds to win the Super Bowl right now are 15-1. I don't know what they were before this, but I think they were a lot higher, like closer to like 30, 25, something like that. And they win the AFC, it's 8-1. So if you want to bet on it, I think that's a solid, getting a lot of value there.
Hang on. You cannot be taken at that because you had the Browns winning the Super Bowl last year.
So last year, listen, sometimes your predictions are ahead. You can't really predict the year, but I knew there was talent there. Baker's great. They got a lot of explosive offense. It's a fun team to watch. Now they're even better. I'm all on board the Browns this year. I never let up last year. I was still on board until the last chance they could get into the playoffs. So go Browns.
They are no doubt favorites to win the division. To emphasize that point, the Ravens lost 2 of their best defensive players in C.J. Mosley and Terrell Suggs. Suggs has been there his whole career. They signed Earl Thomas, but I do think they overpaid for him.
Well, yeah, but also he hasn't played since he injured his knee.
And he's 30, coming off a broken leg. So a lot of issues there. The Steelers, I think it's time to talk about another losing team in free agency. It's the Steelers.
It is the Steelers. All right. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Bell or Antonio Brown?
So let's start with Brown because that happened chronologically first. He's been running his mouth. He's been asking for a trade, and he got it. The Steelers actually rewarded a player and it gave him exactly what he wanted and rewarded him for bad behavior. And you never really see that. And I don't know why the Steelers were so adamant about rewarding him, but they did.
So they traded him away. They don't get much for him. And
a 3 and a 5.
No, why
no? You are worth a 3 and a 5.
We knew they were gonna. We knew it was like it could have been a 4th or a 3rd round pick. Like we knew it wasn't going to be high. So
we knew it wasn't going to be a 1. Yeah,
we knew that. Steelers fans were telling us, "Oh no, definitely a 1st round pick." You know our mutual friend. He was all high on. We're getting a 1st round for sure.
Well, for a minute there, we thought he was heading to Buffalo for one night at least.
Yeah, that was kind of
and that the trade ramifications there was going to be the Bills would just swap the 9th and the 20th pick in the draft. So it was just a swap of like 10 spots, which was even less than a 3 and a 5, really.
He got paid. Mr. Big Chest or Mr. Big Checks or whatever he wants to be called these days. He got paid. He got guaranteed money. It's the greatest team to go to because John Gruden has no clue what's going on. I just saw on Twitter, I think he just guaranteed a contract to somebody else. over $44 million. He's just writing checks right now. I don't know if he's just playing like when I play Madden on fantasy mode, that's what I do. I'm like, well, let me write the biggest checks so I can get the best players just for right now. And usually they never all work together. So Jon Gruden's playing fantasy football. He's not in the real world.
We're going to get back to the Steelers in a second here. Let's talk about the Raiders, and let's talk about J-Dog Takes On.
Oh, okay. We're then.
J-Dog Takes On.
J-Dog Takes On is brought to you by Jacksonville Beach.
No.
The town council has sponsored this one. I recommend a trip to Jack's Beach, a beautiful white sand beaches. I'm looking at it right now. You can actually ride your bike. You can jog on these beaches. Super flat, super compact.
Oh, that's great.
Nothing like the rest of Florida. All right, J-Dog Takes On this week is Jon Gruden. We were just talking about him. I'm taking on Gruden. And you may say, wait, he made his team better with Antonio Brown. At what cost, my friend? Because Khalil Mack was the best player in the NFL last year, the last 2 years. He is a game-changing player. Antonio Brown is no longer that. He's 30 years old. We've been talking for a year on how Antonio Brown's value would crumble as he hit 30 because every player in the NFL does. And Jon Gruden had a great player in Mack. He traded him away because he didn't want to pay him because he didn't want to have an old veteran on his team. And now he has a 30-year-old receiver that never works, and he's going to pay him the highest contract in the NFL. That's also not going to work. So I don't care about the compensation.
Get it.
They gave up a great package of compensation, barely any value there. It's still a bad deal for the Raiders when you look at them basically trading away Mack for Antonio Brown.
I have breaking news. All right, so here's the deal. They gave former Chargers wide receiver Tyrell Williams a 4-year, $44 million deal, max value $47 million, includes a $22 million guarantee deal.
Why? He's a receiver. So is Antonio Brown. What are you doing?
They're going to spend so much. Listen, I like the idea behind it. Like if you were playing Madden or you had a team, you're like, oh, let me get these studs. Like, oh, yeah, that guy's good. You're overpaying. You're not seeing the value in the draft picks or a rookie or, you know, a second-year guy that maybe has a higher potential. You're just willing to go out and burn a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's lost in this whole thing. Yeah, they're adding Brown. Why are they tying up $100 million in two receivers? Tyrell Williams is unproven. He's more of a fantasy guy than real life.
I graded the Raiders. They were at a D+, and I think they went to a C+, adding Antonio Brown. Just because of Antonio Brown, I think they bump him up. Because Derek Carr is still there, and he's still the receiver, which I don't know if it's any worse than Big Ben.
That's going to get some people talking. I think Carr is worse than Big Ben, even at this point of his career. I think Carr is a lost cause and needs a fresh start, and it's going to be bad in Oakland because Brown is going to get pissed when he's not getting the ball. He's had Ben his whole career. He's had a Hall of Fame quarterback throughout his career. Wait until you have a Carr brother throwing to you.
What would you...
Going to get back to the Steelers here?
Yeah, what would you rate the Steelers? Because I didn't put a grade for the Steelers. I just graded the teams that acquired assets that would boost them up. I didn't grade a team that lost assets and now is probably going to tank or not win more than 7.5 games, 8 games. I wonder what the over-unders are.
The Steelers, it's hard to rank the Steelers, right? Because they offered Le'Veon Bell a shitload of money. We're going to talk about Le'Veon in a moment.
Yeah. And
he never is going to recoup that money. He's never going to get a contract as big as they offered. So they were trying to do it. As for Antonio Brown, the guy went off the deep end. And Ben, obviously there was an issue there with Ben when Ben said, either it's you or me. I'm gone or you're gone. And it turned out they had to get rid of Brown to keep their Hall of Fame quarterback. It's like an incomplete. You know, you ever don't finish a test and you get an NC or something?
Many times I did that.
You would. Yeah, I think it's incomplete. What grade would you give him?
I mean, if we were going that, all right, so they lost Antonio Brown. They lost Le'Veon Bell. They now have Juju, Big Ben, and it seems like all their running backs...
Conner. He's pretty good.
Kind of can just keep running. I would, if they were, what would you put them before? If they were a B+ before, are they a C- now?
Yeah, they're not the best team in the division. There's probably 2 teams better than them, so that's not very good in a 4-team division. Yeah, they're probably like a C or a D. It's just everyone wants to blame them, and I get it, because it could have been handled differently. I'm just not sure you could have handled it with a different outcome, because obviously these two losers, Bell and Brown, had their own intentions. Brown forced his way out, and so did Bell. So can we get to Le'Veon Bell and the Jets?
Let's get to Le'Veon Bell and the Jets.
So many things happening. We do have our bracket coming up with the Bachelorette cities. We've gone from 16 to 8. We're going to reveal some of those, but there's so much NFL. By the way, we're not going to Pittsburgh. We'll tell you that much.
We are not going to Pittsburgh. All right, so in overall, Bell got a deal, and is it worth $52 million, or is it not 100% completed yet? Because I know, like, by the time they get signed and everything, it might be a different deal, but worth $52 million.
It's 52, not guaranteed, but that's the base of it.
And then it's something like a little over $10 million a year, which is less than what the Steelers offered him last year just to come back and play. And I don't know if his guarantee is like, what, 20 or something? Where were all these stats?
So I actually tweeted it from at TSH Podcast. Great Twitter follow. So he's a clear loser because he turned down a $70 million deal from the Steelers last offseason. He signed one for $61 million for the same amount of time. So not only did he take less money, he also lost an additional $14 million last year by never reporting. Look on the flip side. Earl Thomas was, what did we call him, like an in-camp holdout, how he would show up to practice, but he wouldn't try very hard. Mm-hmm. He never got fined because he was showing up when he was supposed to, but he got hurt, but now he got paid. Le'Veon is the bad actor. He's the one who stepped away completely. He lost $14 million last year, and now he didn't get the payday he was looking for. Sure, $61 million is a lot, but he did not get the bidding war that was anticipated.
But so is it because that you were scared as a team to take him on because of what he did last season? Or is Le'Veon just, he wants out so bad that it didn't matter where he went as long as it wasn't the Steelers because of what was going on there? Because at this point, you're just going to play football. As a Jet for the next 4 or 5 years, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. So it's almost like you're getting a paycheck to just kind of sit there and not be anything good. Now, you're in New York. You can be now the face of New York because maybe Barkley doesn't have a big of personality as you. So Le'Veon now can be the face of New York, hang out in New York City. Maybe that's what he wanted. But it's not – he lost a lot of money. So I think he lost. The Jets, I guess, won because they got a superstar. Right? They got somebody good to
You're
play.
right. The Jets won and Bell lost because he's the idiot in the whole situation. Sure, he's going to help the Jets. I don't see that being a great fit. They have not had a good offense in our lifetime. Why would that start now? The guy needs touches to make noise because, he runs into the line super soft. He waits for the line to block, then he moves. He only gets 7 carries a game. He's not going to make all that magic happen. Adam Gase, I saw that playbook up close. It's not as good as people thought it was. It's a lot of dump-offs to the running back, but it's the Jets. It's Sam Darnold. They don't have a good offense in place.
We're not really sure if Darnold can throw the ball because sometimes he looks like a superstar and sometimes he looks like Blake Bortles. We're not really sure where he's
By the way,
talk to me.
I'm glad you mentioned Blake Bortles, who's going to be released or traded from the Jags. I'm here in Jacksonville Beach, as I mentioned.
Yeah. Flacco's there, right? Is he hanging out down there?
He went to Denver.
Oh, Denver. Who went down
Foles
there?
Is here.
Nick Foles.
Your boy. We'll get to him in a moment. So many moves. This could be the longest show ever. Blake Bortles is known on these Jacksonville beach bars as being hammered all the time, including Saturday nights in the season. And you know what happens on Sundays in the season. The guy throws interceptions and incompletions. So a lot of people are saying he was hanging out at these beach bars a little too much, had a place down here, and that's the reason he sucked. So that's inside info.
Okay, I like that. That's good to know.
Do we like that?
I mean, it's good to know. I feel like every city has a story about one of their superstars that are hanging out at like a local bar or something. Like, oh yeah, Big
and that's
Ben.
why TSH pays to travel to get the inside scoop.
That's right. All right. So who do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Flacco or do you want to talk about Big Dick Nick?
Definitely Big Dick Nick. He got paid a lot. I have another loser, and it's called the Jacksonville Jaguars. They gave Nick Foles $88 million. That's more than the Vikings gave Kirk Cousins, and that was a disaster. Now we have 88.
Don't they also have to pay Blake Bortles? Like they're losing out extra money on that because they held him on the contract? Because he was like injured last season, and they still have to pay him what he was guaranteed.
He's got a year or two left because no one's going to take him, I don't think. He hasn't been released yet, but I don't think.
Solid backup, right? That's what you need. You want 2 mediocre quarterbacks. That's what the Phillies did, right? They got that, and then they won a Super Bowl. Well, I mean, Carson Wentz isn't mediocre, but he got injured.
By the way, that's who Belichick is looking at right now. Did you see those pictures of Belichick in Barbados?
I like that. Like the trade, like opens up and he's just like chilling on a beach somewhere.
That's
like
how you know
whale.
he doesn't do free agency. Maybe other teams could learn. The team that never does free agency is a team that wins the Super Bowl.
He won the
most
Super
years.
Bowl like many times. Just
But people
chilling.
say his body shape is so odd. Also,
Yeah. Well, he just stands around.
You
yells
should
at people.
look that up. We'll put it on our Instagram page, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'll put it
we'll
up
put
there.
his body up there. You thought me and Mike had weird shaped bodies.
Yeah. Just wait till you see
his.
this. It'll make us look like
so,
models.
So the rumors are Bortles or Tannehill will end up as Brady's backup in New England because Belichick likes both of them.
Bortles or Now I could see him taking Bortles and making him a good quarterback.
How?
I just think that it's something with the system, right? Like if you're in a place and no one ever teaches you, like, why don't you take a moment and look at this? Here's where you can dump off the ball. By the way, I just saw that Teddy Bridgewater's flying down to Miami. Might be signed up with Miami. A lot of stuff's happening.
It's happening now. It's tough to keep
Free
track.
agent Teddy Bridgewater is scheduled to meet tonight with the Dolphins.
So the Dolphins, some inside info there. The Dolphins are
tell us.
offering him the starting job, but it's a short-term deal, 1 to 2 years, because it's tank for Tua time. The Giants and the Dolphins are tanking for the Alabama quarterback. The Saints have an offer out to Bridgewater, but it's to back up Breeze. Teddy hasn't played in a while. If he sits out another year, if Breeze is healthy, that's going to be like 4 years without playing football, which you can't really recover from that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sam Bradford. Like he got injured, and then he was just never the same. And he
True.
never looked the same. He's just scared to play football.
But it's weird. You saw the carousel spinning, and like the carousel stops, and the Dolphins are the only team without a quarterback, and Bridgewater's the only quarterback still out there. It's kind of weird.
I mean, couldn't they go after Bortles? I'm sure they could get him if
he's
they
not
made him an
released
offer.
yet. Tannehill will be out there. I think Tannehill ends up in Cincinnati. Just a sneaky suspicion there. Book it, Nostradamus. Yeah, the Jags are losers. They overpaid for
Sportstradamus,
Foles.
Jeremy. Okay, just if you're
True.
going to talk to yourself in third person.
I'm Sportstradamus.
All right, who
But
else?
yeah,
Flacco?
I think they overpaid for Foles. Flacco's
Oh, for
irrelevant
sure.
in Denver. Case Keenum's irrelevant in Washington. That could be another Tannehill spot. But there's not many opportunities left.
So sad for your Dolphins.
How about a bullshit or believe?
I could do bullshit or believe. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe.
You have the best voice.
I know.
Bullshit or believe? Here's one of my takeaways from free agency. Maybe you
Okay.
can come up with one in the next few minutes too, because I didn't prepare you for this.
Okay.
Bullshit or believe? Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat because hear me out. He is the
Okay.
one. He is the guy in Pittsburgh who is not the X's and O's. He's never been like the playbook type guy. Really, he's the opposite of Sean McVay, right? McVay is known as the quarterback whisperer, the play calling guy. Tomlin is not that. He's the locker room guy. He owns the locker room. He gets the guys motivated. He keeps everyone on the same page. Well, Mr. Locker Room Tomlin has now seen 2 of his 3 Hall of Famers leave for next to no compensation. If his one job is to be the locker room guy, then he should be on the hot seat this year. And if anything else happens, he should go.
Okay, so I'm going to say bullshit because wouldn't we want to blame the GM and not the coach? Because maybe, yeah, the coach is dealing with the day-to-day. He's in there. He's in the room. But it comes down to the GM realizing that there's an issue and being able to trade him away before something becomes even bigger, right? Like you could have gotten on the like Antonio Brown and like maybe traded him somewhere else before all this happened if you knew he's going to be a diva. And like you saw it coming too, right? Over the like years or so, like bigger and bigger. He's on Madden. He's becoming famous. He's on TV shows, singing, Dancing with the Stars. He wanted the fame. And if you saw this, said, look, this isn't good for our team, blah, blah, blah. He's recording in the locker rooms, doing all this. It comes down to, yeah, the coach has to do something, but I think I would blame the GM. I don't know who it is, but I would blame him or whoever's in charge of.
But those guys all grew up there, right, in that locker room. So that's why, to me, I hear what you're saying. The GM assembled the team, but they like grew up there, whether they were drafted or whatever it was. They all started their careers. They've never played anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's Tomlin's MO is to keep that shit on lock, and that shit was not on lock. That shit is broke.
I guess at this point, it's like how much longer does he have on his contract? Because if he only has like 2 years left, do you just keep him and then kind of decide on somebody else at that point? Because right now your team is there's still something kind of there, but there's not enough to just
I
totally.
think a clear rebuild is in order the moment Ben
For sure.
hangs it up, which could be any year if you
Could
listen
be,
to Ben.
yeah.
Could be this year.
Could be tomorrow. Could be whenever.
Because the Browns are clearly better. The Steelers lost a ton of talent, and they didn't even make the playoffs last year with Browns. So yeah.
It's not good. You got any other trades we want to talk
Do you
about?
have a bullshitter belief for me?
I don't. It's too hard to think of something right now, but I just think all the teams that we're all excited about, like getting all these assets and doing all this, maybe there's a reason why they got rid of all of them, right? Like maybe the Steelers got rid of these players because they were better without them. Like, look at how they did without Le'Veon Bell. Look at how, whatever it is, there might be an issue with them getting rid of the players, and maybe that's why these teams might surprise us this year. That could be a bullshit or believe. The teams that unloaded and look like they're just tanking, maybe bullshit or believe, will they be good or bad?
I believe it. That goes back to Belichick in Barbados as free agency opens. He's unconcerned. You have not heard the Patriots sign one person. They have not been involved in anything. Even Danny Amendola's out there. He went to Detroit. All the Patriots are going to Detroit or Miami or Tennessee, and that's where all of Belichick's disciples have gone. I know. He's sitting back waiting.
Isn't that weird, though, that they're all just kind of trying to scoop up what was left over of the Patriots at some point when they were all there?
It's not just leftovers. The Lions signed Trey Flowers to $90 million.
That's a lot of money.
It's too much.
Way too much money. All right, I have a Big Dick Energy.
Big Dick Energy, winner of the week.
All right, we're kind of jumping to the NBA real quick. Jeff Van Gundy was talking about the Lakers and how they should just totally scrap it and trade LeBron James. What? And I'm giving Jeff Van Gundy the Big Dick Energy of the week. The only person to say something like that. And I already wrote my blog before he spoke about this, but I have a blog about why LA will never love LeBron James, which you can check out at thehangovernetwork.com.
You live in LA, you know the truth on LA and LeBron.
I love the idea. Why not trade LeBron James? Why not you go after AD or somebody like that, or KD or whoever it is, and get them that they want to play here? Like LeBron, what I wrote in my piece was, I like that in my piece. What I wrote was saying that it seems like he acquired the Lakers and he didn't get brought on to the Lakers. He seems like he's running the Lakers now and he's just frustrated. And it doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. His energy is low. He hasn't been playing defense. He's skipping games and practices. He has all these other interests going on. And that's kind of what we've learned. That's why he moved to LA, was to do the barbershop, was to be executive producer of movies. And it's clearly not to win playoff games. They're terrible. I don't get the reasoning on trading LeBron. All that being said, what's the reason? Is it to rebuild without him?
Because you have all these young assets on the team right now. You have,
but Anthony Davis isn't going to rebuild.
The what? No, but you don't have to rebuild. You could acquire assets to make your team good right away. If you got rid of LeBron, you could get two assets to make you a winner because they have pieces in place. They're young. They're getting better. And I think they could be a better team if they just wanted to. One day LeBron, who now owns the team, comes up to you and says, listen, all you out of here. I want Anthony Davis on the team. How would you feel? Half of them now are sitting because of injuries. Yeah. I don't think it's a good move on LeBron. I think he just came in a little too strong and needs to tone it down a little because he just passed Michael Jordan as the all-time points scorer or leader. I don't think LA cared at all. I don't think they cared one bit about it.
LA is not a sports town. That's what we learned about the Rams Super Bowl run.
I know, but you would think they would be with what we have 2 football, 2 basketball, 2 hockey, 2 soccer. We have everything here, but we don't really care. We don't care about sports.
I don't think it's past the point of no return for LeBron, so I would disagree on that.
I got a Scandal City.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
Okay, Jeremy, I don't know why I love it so much, but all the Instagram memes of the celebs paying money to get their kids in college, there was I think over 40 people that helped do this. This is a big scandal, and now people are in jail, and the FBI is raiding their homes. Why does the FBI pay so much attention to college happenings like the NCAA? And why do they look into who cares if the mom from Full House paid somebody $500,000 to get into Harvard?
Who cares? It's multiple felonies. What do you mean?
But why? But I don't understand. To me, when I read the article, I said, why does the FBI care so much? Don't people donate to colleges and get their names inscribed on a library and say, there's J-Dog's library. That's why all of J-Dog's kids go here because he paid $2 million for this thing to be built. What's any different from that to this?
Well, they could have gone about that and given the money to the school, and then the kids would have went there.
I know,
Instead,
but
they're committing felonies. It's fraudulent.
I guess
it's
it was
the definition of a scandal.
I know.
This is not even sports. I question why the FBI gets involved in sports issues, right? Because there's so many more important things. This isn't that. This is education. This is a huge thing. What if it wasn't celebrities? What if it's just rich people? What if your kid, Mike, did not get into Harvard, even though she deserved to? Because you're definitely having a daughter. She deserved to. She's very smart. She deserved to go to Harvard, but some rich person's kid got there instead. You'd be livid because your daughter ended up at UCF instead.
But UCF's a great school. I guess the thing that blows my mind is that they paid for them to like pass through admissions and like cheat on tests and stuff like that. And I don't know how involved like the mom from Full House is or Felicity Huffman or whoever it is. They're like, their bonds are set at like $250 million and like $1 million to get out of jail. They're going to court at the end of the month. I don't understand. I guess it just blows my mind. Like, if somebody was looking into you, like, if you were siphoning me money for like the sports hangover, and we're trying to like cheat our way up to the top of the rankings, does anybody really care? It's like, oh wow, good job. You like you gamed the system and you got in somehow and you figured it out. Like, all the people that are involved, they're pretty shady, but this must go on everywhere. Like, you can't just think this is in college. This has got to be within everything, within sports, within every single thing. If you think like the housewife next door is just going out and giving
that's funny. She was a desperate housewife, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, it's an insane thing that this mom maybe doesn't like actually hand off the money, but he's like a part of it and says, oh yeah, I'll write a check for that so you can get into this school or whoever.
Wasn't it like $50,000 or something? It's major money changing hands.
I know, it was quite a bit of money. It was millions of dollars.
Did they ever catch that one chick? I know the one was in Hawaii. Did they ever bring her back to LA, or is she still on the run?
I don't know. There's like 40 people, so I'm wondering who else there is, but it's kind of crazy. This is the biggest scandal of the weekend. I'm sure we'll find out a lot more as it goes on, because it seems like everybody's on top of it, and even the daughter of I don't know her name, from Full House, went to USC and like left USC because she didn't want to go there anymore. But obviously her mom paid for her to get in, and she was really upset.
But they also did weird stuff like place them on athletic teams, like the rowing team, even though she was never a rower in her whole life.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's a scam. All right, you want to get to the bracket?
This is exciting because I do. And this is March Madness, as you know. It'll bleed into April, as the NCAA tournament does.
Of course.
And we are not really into the NCAA tournament, even though UCF will be in it this year. Shout out, Knights. What we will do is we're doing a bachelorette party location bracket in honor of our friend who we are losing to battle. We are losing him to the dark side. He is getting married, and he is willing to have his bachelor party at this location. It goes for women, too, though. Women are welcome to vote.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they're all kind of the same, right? So we went through it. We put it out there. Everybody voted. Got a lot of votes.
It was on hangover.network, correct?
Yes,
that's where first-round voting was, and that's where second-round voting will be.
Yes. So you can go there and you can vote. So we have the winners. I will go in order.
So we're going from 16 to 8. Our 8 matchups are being chopped to 4. This is big. This is the first round of cuts.
This is big.
I have not seen these. I'm going to react in real time.
So I'm going to start.
Yes. I know good choices will be gone.
Let's hope. All right, so starting Park City against Waste Management.
Oh, please, Waste Management.
Our winner is Park City.
Oh, God.
Or any ski city. I guess Waste Management was hard because you could pick that, and it's like Arizona, but it's very specific a date. So who knows?
It was an event. It was super specific. Matt, still consider it. It's glorious. There are drunk chicks collapsing all over the place. It is a great time.
That's good for a lawsuit.
What was the percentage?
Let me look at the percentage.
Was it close? Even close? And Park City is just one spot. It's a ski trip anywhere, really.
So the Park City won by 64%.
Okay.
Next, we have New Orleans versus Denver, and Denver was the winner by 52%. Real close.
New Orleans getting no love. Our friend group went on a bachelor party to New Orleans, Mardi Gras, in our early 20s. That's the best time to do it. I get it. 30 is a little different doing that scene. Doesn't mean you can't. Denver's interesting because we already have a ski trip on there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you go to Denver and not ski, and so skiing is a different trip?
I think maybe you do both. I think it's like once it comes down to like the final two, then it's more the discussion of like, why do we do this place and how do we do it? Because New Orleans would have been fun. It would have been a beer fest, a lot of drinking. Denver, you can do a lot. You can go October and you could go drink a lot of beer. I don't think you can ski in October yet.
Dispensaries. Wait, is October the time we're doing this?
No, I have no idea. We should find out a good date because I'm guessing it's sometime next year. All right.
It has to be at least in April when we finish the bracket.
Miami versus Seattle. The winner.
Wow, different coasts. It's got to be Miami.
The winner by 52.9% is Seattle.
What is going on here? South Beach is amazing. This is the scene of Matt's crime where he got engaged.
It is.
I did a bachelor party in South Beach, as the listeners know, and it was lit. It was fun. It was different. It was late night. It was parties. It was good weather, hot chicks. Big disappointment.
I don't know really what happens in Seattle, like what bachelor party type stuff, but I could see how it could be fun.
You could imagine, though, right?
I could definitely imagine.
You can only imagine.
All right, Vegas versus Boston. This is a clear winner here, 70%. Vegas is the winner. That wraps up our U.S. cities.
Boston should not have been on the list. It should have been Austin or Nashville instead, just saying.
I still think Vegas would have beat them. I guess if it was like Miami versus Austin, I might have picked Austin.
True.
But Seattle beat.
Vegas
All right, so
is going to be tough to beat.
International. We have Montreal versus Tulum. And the winner of this is Montreal by the biggest blowout this season. 82%
I like
picked
that.
Montreal. That's
Tulum was probably poorly named. I consider it Cancun. Tulum to me is like where the ruins are. So I don't think we're gonna do a big party there.
I think our friend pitched it to us as like a bougie Cancun, right? Like a more upscale adult version of Cancun.
Which I'm all for improving the Cancun experience, but I'm happy about Montreal. I am booking a trip to Montreal, whether we go or not.
Well, you're supposed to come to San Diego in 2 weeks, but that trip failed. So
blame our rich friend.
Where was I? Vancouver versus Puerto Rico. Vancouver won by 70%.
I'm glad Vancouver won. Apologies to Puerto Rico for being in the international bracket. Turns out you are a U.S. territory, and
but
that's
a U.S.
our
territory.
Bad.
I mean, it's technically. I wouldn't put it. I guess it's kind of U.S., but kind of not really.
Very U.S. Yeah. Careful.
I really want to go to Vancouver. It's like been on my list for a while. I'd love to go there. So hopefully this one wins. I'm going to be voting for it next round. Toronto versus Rio de Janeiro. Another big blowout here. Toronto.
Yeah, Canada is just going to clean up.
I know.
Here.
Toronto by 70%.
No one wants to go to Rio. Way too far. Never even on my bucket list. Never really considered it. I'll probably never go.
Okay. All right. Well. And the number 1 versus number 8. Cabo versus Budapest. This was surprisingly close.
Please not Budapest.
Cabo won by 52.9%.
Thank you. Those are great spots. I might switch over. I was running the domestic side. I love those 4 international spots.
You do love the international stuff. All right, so in round 2, we're going to have Vegas versus Seattle, Denver versus Park City, or
Good.
any
we'll
ski
get one
place.
of those out because it's the same damn thing.
I know. And then in international, we're going to have Cabo versus Montreal and Toronto versus Vancouver. So these are huge, huge matchups, huge Canadian cities against each other. And then we have Cabo, which Cabo... Who knows? People might like Montreal.
I'm telling you right now, this is going to come down to Vegas and Canada, and that's
Vegas
the final.
and Canada. I mean, the odds are in
final.
Canada's favor to get to the final.
Not on a limb there, but yeah. I'm excited. So keep voting. Go on hangover.network. A new round. You'll have another week to vote. We'll record next week. We'll bring it down from 8 to 4, and then we'll have our final 4 next week.
And maybe we'll have a Canadian come on and talk to us about some of these Canadian cities. We'll find one. I'm sure we could go on the internet or something. They're out there. Do you have anything else? Because I got food news. One last thing for food news.
Is it Canadian food or Mexican?
LA food.
Here's what I found.
Mexican.
Here's some news for food news.
All right, Jeremy. I didn't know this, but there was no Michelin guide of food out in LA. And the Tourism Board of California just paid $600,000 to get this back out here. And I was reading the article, and it said years ago when they took it away from us is that LA didn't appreciate food. They didn't care. It wasn't a city that enjoyed their food. But you know, Jeremy, you've been out here. We've had some good food. It's hard, hit or miss. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good.
Yeah,
but
my
overall,
last meal at the Soho House was awesome. It was great. That was the last meal I had in LA.
Mm-hmm. Great views. You're not supposed to talk about Soho House like that. It's just like it's like Fight Club. Like first rules, don't talk about it.
I didn't say what I ordered. I didn't talk about the service or lack thereof. I didn't mention any of that.
49ers, this is breaking news. 49ers are signing Tevin Coleman to a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Okay. Wait a second. That's confusing. And they were in on Le'Veon Bell in the end. And I'm just trying to figure it out. Is something's really wrong with Jerick McKinnon? Because they paid him. He was the Le'Veon Bell of last offseason. Tore his ACL early. But he's supposed to be back for week 1. It was last September. What's the deal? Because they had Matt Breida.
Yeah, but I don't think he was that good. He was the star quarterback, star running back, but he wasn't able to do anything. So maybe he's a better blocker. I don't know. I mean, it seems Tevin Coleman's pretty good, but I thought he was good because of what's his name with him. It was kind of like a duo. So maybe this is what they're thinking.
Coleman's better than Freeman. They just fed Freeman way too much. I like Kyle Shanahan using these weapons, so it's good that they have weapons. They were in on Antonio Brown, on Le'Veon Bell. They didn't sign the receiver, but they get another running back, so maybe they'll spread those guys out and do some crazy shit with them.
I like it. All right, Jeremy, that's all I got.
We were talking about LA food. What up?
Yeah, well, the tourism board, they paid $600,000 to get the Michelin guide back to LA. Now they're going to start reviewing restaurants. We're going to have a nice guide of all the great food that you can eat out here in LA, which I'm kind of sad this city wasn't on the list of great places to come for a bachelor party because it could be fun. Our friend was just out here partying it up in LA for a week. It's a great time out here. Go to thehangovernetwork.com. Find the new poll. It will be up there front and center. Read all the blogs if you're into Marvel, if you want to know about LeBron. Everything is up there. And then also go buy some swag. You don't have much time. St. Patrick's Day is almost here. And
they might not have time. It's Sunday.
It's Sunday. There's not much time to order. So there's other great swag up there. There's going to be a new batch of swag next week. I'm working on all new graphics. We're going to have some good stuff up there. And also follow us on Instagram at Hangover Network. And if we don't get arrested in molester reviews, hopefully we're back next week.